Alright, so we got all the plastics mocked up. We're just kind of seeing what it would look like and what I have to trim and what kind of mounts I have to make. But we did get it running, and there is some things I have to button up. The front motor mounts, I have to wait for the bolts for those to come in. We're waiting for the rest of the exhaust elbow pieces to come in so I can weld those back together and make a full exhaust. Got to make brackets for the KX100 plastics. The only thing we can't use is the rear KX100 rear fender. I have black fork socks coming. I'm taking those green stickers off. Got to redo the seat cover and stuff like that. But other than that, everything come together super nice on this bike. I mean, for an old KLX 140, this thing's going to be a ripper for sure. I mean, this thing is sick. All right, let's talk about some things that I did run into with this particular swap. Now, one thing I did run into is the carburetor is kind of tight, so you're going to have to order some different intakes. Technically, that's it. That's the only major issue that we ran into. In the exhaust, we have to make a exhaust, and we have to run a new intake boot to the airbox, because I'm wanting to keep the stock airbox because this is going to be like a trail bike to ride in the woods. I'm not building a motocross bike. If I was, I'd be concerned about the swing arm and the frame. I'm not going to be jumping this thing. I'm going to be riding this thing in the woods because that's basically what we do around here, right? So we didn't have a problem with none of this stuff motor swap wise. Like I said, only the carburetor was a little tight. You have to mess with the boots, maybe trim a little bit of stuff. But that part was super easy if you know what you're doing. As far as the exhaust, you got to have fabrication skills. As the wiring harness, I bought a pre-built wiring harness. You just plug everything in and it basically all swaps over, no problem. Kill switch. I used everything stock that I could. The only thing I didn't use that was stock was the exhaust, and basically the wiring harness wasn't stock, but everything else on this bike is stock. Throttle cable, brakes, all that stuff. When it comes to the plastics, I'm going to be running KX100 plastics. I already mentioned that, but I'm going to be making some mounts to bolt to the tank right here. I already made mounts for the KX100 number plates in the back. I have a video on my YouTube channel of that already. And then everything else bolted up. We cannot use the rear fender because it is a totally different shape. This is the rear fender for a KX100. And the only way to get this to work is trim your rear subframe, and I'm not about to do that. You could almost make this work if you wanted to, but I'm just going to opt out and go ahead and paint this. I know a lot of people don't like painting dirt bike plastics, but this is going to be the rear fender. And honestly, I like the longer fender in the back because that one's a little bit shorter. Got fat bars on here and everything else. Like I said, we'll go over the whole build when I get this bike done, but this is just an update just to show you guys that this is real. This isn't fake. And I know a lot of people are like, why don't you just go buy a 250? Why don't you go buy this? They have budget this. You can pick these bikes up on Facebook right now for like $1,000, okay? Take $800 and do this swap. You'll have a nice $1,800 manageable trail bike, enduro bike, right? I was going to put a headlight on the front, but I think that would look kind of cheesy, but maybe not, I don't know. But the reason why a lot of people keep asking me, why the KLX 140? Why are you doing this to the KLX 140? Why? Why waste your money? Why waste your time? I like the way the frame is. I like the way the bike, how it sets. I did lift mine up. It does have stiffer springs in the front. It has the linkage flip in the bottom, and the spring has been tightened up. So this bike does set a little bit taller. But I like the way that it feels, honestly. I like the way it feels under my feet, under my butt. I like the way everything feels. I mean, I do feel a little cramped up on it when I sit down, but I did move the pegs down. But overall, I just like the way it feels in the woods. It's manageable. you can control it. And the only problem I had was a lot of people are like, well, it's not made for adults. This particular model is made for adults, okay? Maybe not big adults like me that weigh 230 pounds, but I never had a problem with that engine. I did climb right-of-ways with that engine, but I felt like I always needed more. The big bore kit gave us some spice, but not enough. And that's why we did the transplant that we did, because this is going to be manageable. This is a true 250cc engine. It's going to be manageable, and it's going to have that zip that we're going to need for this little bike to climb right-of-ways, zip up little banks, hill climbs, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I'm doing it. It's been bored out to a 300cc, so this thing should rip. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you watch out for the next part, me finishing up this build. I'll see you guys next time.